guys, Charles Damiano here for another episode of Bruce Lee Show and Tell. I'm really excited in this episode because I'm going to share with you today a couple of my 4Cs Weekly magazines that came out in the early 70s. Now these magazines, the reason they were so great is that most of them featured Bruce Lee on the cover. I have a few with him on the cover that I'm going to share with you, as well as some back cover issues where he's featured on the back cover. And I also have a pre-death issue that I like to share with you. So I'm going to pull these out. We're going to share some of these 4Cs Weekly, which are very vintage magazines. They're old school from the early 70s, and that's why I love them so much, and I hope you enjoy them as well. So let me grab these. So this first one, although not a Bruce Lee cover, is a pre-death issue. Now, the great thing about pre-death issues is that this came out prior to Bruce Lee passing away. This is in March of 1972, and he just finished filming the Chinese Connection, here released in the United States as the Chinese Connection. Back in Hong Kong it was released, as you guys know, Fist of Fury. So although he's not on the front of the cover, they have a nice back cover shot of him, featured in the Chinese Connection, where he's kicking Suzuki through the window at the end fight scene, which is a great issue. And again, the reason I love this issue so much is because it's pre-death. It's one of the few that I have that's pre-death, and pre-death issues are generally really sought after because not a lot of information came on Bruce Lee before he passed away. So let me just flip through this and show you this next issue. Again, although this one is not a cover issue of Bruce Lee, as you can see, he's not on the cover. This one came out in 1976, but he is featured throughout the magazine and on the back of the cover, and here you see him in a few of his movies. Obviously Fist of Fury, the way it was released in the United States. In Hong Kong it was released as The Big Boss. Here you see him in a shot of Enter the Dragon. And then down below, another shot of him in The Big Boss when it came to the States, Fist of Fury. So again, this one also came out in 1976, so it's not a pre-death issue. These next few, I have Bruce featured on the cover, which are just simply beautiful. This one's a 4Cs Weekly from March of 1976, and obviously you guys all know what this is from. This is a great scene of Bruce from, again, Fists of Fury, as it was released here in the United States. And it's a great full-color issue of Bruce featured on the cover. Again, this is one of my favorite 4Cs Weekly. As we flip to the next one, this is a very rare issue, also put out in 1976. Not pre-death, but as you can see, this is a shot of Bruce Lee in an airport. Looks like a Hong Kong airport, and it's a very rare photo. And the great thing about these magazines is that they featured a lot of rare photos of Bruce Lee that you didn't really see featured here in the United States, because all of these came out in Hong Kong. So again, I love 4Cs Weekly magazines. And then I have this other one, which has Bruce Lee featured, obviously, in The Game of Death. Again, this is another one, I believe, that was released in the early 70s. Some of them, it's very difficult to find the year it was released. They'll generally put the month on the issue, but you won't generally find the year unless you look through the magazine. And most of the magazine, well, all of the magazine is in Chinese, so it's very difficult finding the year that these were put out. But most of them came out in the early 70s. So this is a great issue of Bruce where he's with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of his opponents in The Game of Death, doing his famous flying kick with his yellow jumpsuit on. So again, another great issue of 4Cs Weekly. And then this last one that I have in my collection, which I think you guys will enjoy, is a beautiful cover image of Bruce Lee. It looks like it's a shot of him in Return of the Dragon. When it came out in Hong Kong, it was called Way of the Dragon. But it looks like he has the same outfit on that he featured in Way of the Dragon. And this one also came out in October of 76. Again, and it has some great images of Bruce inside the magazine. And I'm going to actually flip through this one with you guys so you can see some of the photos that are featured in these magazines. And again, there's not a lot of pages, and they're really not a magazine. It's kind of like a newspaper type magazine, because it's larger than a magazine. And the paper is more like a newspaper than it is a magazine, but they have some good images in here. So I'm going to show you this one. Let's see if I can flip through this. And again, you didn't purchase these for the images inside the magazine. It was really the cover of the magazine that made these 4C's Weekly so special. So as you can see, it's all in Chinese. Not a lot on Bruce Lee until you get to the second page, where they have a couple of classic shots of him. Obviously, one of them from Enter the Dragon. Here again at the bottom, Enter the Dragon. Here he is in his famous warrior outfit, which he never finished or even started that film. It was one of his ideas of doing a film on the warrior, which I heard recently that an episode or a full feature movie is going to be coming out called The Warrior, and it's all based on Bruce Lee's writings. And I just read about that recently, so we'll look forward to that. Here Bruce Lee doing a very high kick. And obviously here with Raymond Chow, probably negotiating some movie deals. And as you flip through the magazine, again, all in Chinese. Again, not a lot of images here on Bruce Lee. But if you go to the centerfold, they have this beautiful color centerfold. And talk about vintage feel. Here you have a beautiful movie poster featuring Bruce Lee in both The Big Boss and Chinese Connection, or Fist of Fury as it was known in the States. A couple of the shots on Bruce Lee. Here he is with Chuck Norris and Bob Wall. And here he is with director Robert Klaus and Bruce Lee directing. That looks like a scene from Enter the Dragon. So again, some really beautiful color shots of Bruce Lee in this issue. This is one of my favorite issues. Again, I picked these up. A few of them I picked up generally in New York City, Chinatown, back in the early 70s when I was a kid, 13, 14 years old, scouring for Bruce Lee magazines. And a few of these issues I got on trade with other collectors around the world, people who I became friends with. So again, this was a very special episode to me because I love 4C's Weekly magazines. If you guys have any in your collection, I'd love you to comment on them. Let me know the ones you have. I love seeing pre-death issues. If you guys have any pre-death issues, there was quite a few of Bruce on the cover from Chinese Connection. So please share this video, comment below, and again, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Charles Damiano once again signing off from the Bruce Lee collection. And until next time, have fun collecting.